Following 64 just had a jetpack.
All right, so that was Ekon's turn, and as long as Ekon has to maintain concentration for 1 minute.
Yep. After 10 rounds, it does not come back.
All right, so it sounds like you guys need to make sure that this black sorceress does not disrupt Ekon's concentration. Then,
Yeah.
who's next?
I want these XP.
Okay, we've got Evie's up with Edmont on deck.
Should I subdue the black sorceress, or should I go after the cultist who ran away here?
Well, there's still one banging on the window.
You probably get the ones that ran away.
I think Edmont can handle the black sorcerers. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55...
So if you're going to squeeze through this window, I'm going to require a dexterity saving throw to avoid being lacerated on the sharp, jagged glass.
If I take damage, does that stop my movement, or do I just...
No, you'll just take the damage. You'll take slashing damage.
Okay.
And it's going to cost 10 feet of movement to go through the window because you have to squeeze.
That's a decent number. That's a 16.
Okay, so yeah, you get through without getting cut.
All right, then I end up here.
And when you get outside of the church, he is just rounding the corner, going around the back as you come out.
I don't think I have enough movement left to chase him.
Throw something.
I could, but I kind of don't want to kill him.
Oh, we got backups.
They are technically worth experience.
Well, I was hoping to subdue one to interrogate.
Use your action to try to intimidate him or something. I don't know.
There's one stuck inside, and there's one going around the other side.
All right, I'll kill that one,
Okay.
or at least try to.
I think he'd been previously wounded. One of them.
Yeah,
had been.
I think I hit this one already. So 16 hit him.
Yeah, that's enough. He drops dead.
All right. That's the end of Evie's turn.
Got Edmont with Sorceress on deck.
Close the sorceress and give her some vitamin K and vitamin W.
Are you sure you don't want to get the other one running away? Because the reds go before Victor does.
Well, you could chase the red one.
No, I don't have the movement to chase the red one.
You have 90 feet of movement when you dash.
And you can fly.
Well, flying is base movement speed, though, with boots.
Yeah, anyway. I think, more Black Lady is more dangerous. That came out wrong.
No, she's definitely more dangerous.
Black Token Lady.
It doesn't sound any better.
It's actually Tolkien.
Does a 23 hit?
Sure does.
Looking at 9 points slashing damage.
Whip it good.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's very badly bloodied now.
Give her a punch. I'm going non-lethal on her.
Okay.
That one. Flurry of blows.
Okay.
Again, non-lethal. Does a 14 hit?
14 does not hit.
How about a dirty 20?
20 will hit.
Let's go ahead and snipe. Let's go ahead and power wrist to maximize the die on that to 12 points of bludgeoning damage.
And you knock her unconscious. So presuming Ekon does concentrate for the full minute, we can come off initiative at this point.
Can I guess Jeannie and Jeannie would immediately run outside and start trying to round up the other cultists that tried to get away.
Okay.
My question is, do we really not want to bring the thing back? We could kill it.
We have defeated it in combat.
No, it's going to come back in a minute, isn't it?
No.
Nope.
No, it's just gone.
Read the last paragraph of banishment, my friend.
What happens if you banish yourself because you did that once, and then you concentrate on it the whole like?
I
That's
returned
almost
to
like-
where you came from, right?
Where did any of
I think
us
I
really
skipped
come
your
from?
pointer for that. Let me actually look at exactly how it works.
Yeah, you don't have much difficulty rounding up the two men, or two men who escaped out windows, and then the one still inside the church immediately surrenders. Without the sorceress conscious and maintaining it, the fire quickly kind of burns itself out, leaving the front of the church heavily damaged and charred, especially the roof overhead where there is a hole that had been blasted outward. And of course, your windows are going to have to be replaced. Other than that, the structural integrity of the building remains intact.
Edmont is going to march this woman. Well, not really march, but basically drag her out of the house and or out of the place into the toward the manse. Out of the temple to the manse.
What do you do with the three remaining? There's two remaining cultists. No, there's three because one of them had not gotten out yet.
We take them to the manse into different rooms, right? We've already established we have at least 4 rooms. Because remember, we had those guys that killed our goat herder friend. We had them separated.
Okay. Anything
Ekon
else
is
you're doing
going
inside
to,
the church here?
Look over each of the prisoners using Arcana to see if they have any magical objects on them before they're brought in.
Definitely make sure they don't have spell focuses or anything like that.
The red pawns didn't. The woman did indeed have a spell focus, which you can confiscate.
Yep, taking that.
Should we cut out her tongue too so she can't talk?
Wow.
We can still.
We might want her to talk.
Oh, that's what telepathy's for. I don't want to
No.
kill spells and summoning him as
Stop.
demon. She can still talk.
Hey, Captain. Keep your murder boner in your pants.
Are you the evil
Well,
one?
these people did like suicide fireball, so
I'm sorry, but like, Jeannie kind of agrees with Victor on this. So let me do I need to roll a performance check as I play the world's smallest violin for this cultist lady?
Ekon won't have any of that.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Jeannie, what's the damage to that very nice religious iconography that Jeannie made?
What was it at the front of the church?
Yeah, it was
Then it's basically completely destroyed.
even with, like I said, it was made out of wood steel.
Wood steel burns.
Yeah, and metal.
Yep. So I mean, it's cracked and warped, and all of your hard work.
Jeannie's gonna collect it.
Okay.
even comforts, Genie.
As you guys are taking
She
the
would
prisoners up towards the manse, the crowd congregating around the village, a lot of chaos is happening. As you guys emerge victorious, pretty sure none of the townsfolk out here know that there was just a giant devil trying to climb up out of the earth in the center of the church. However, there are a lot of calls and questions, particularly for Ekon, to know what the village or House Veritas has done to anger God in this way.
These people are all false or fake believers. This is not Air's will. This is the will of a number of misguided souls that call his name as an armor to hide their true intentions.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, I'm great at these.
Well, take a +5.
So a
For sure.
7.
A 7?
Yeah.
Why do I let other people make persuasion checks?
Take a.
I should be doing it at this point.
You know what? No, just take the +5. 7.
So yeah, you tell the people that these were false prophets, that they did not speak with the gravitas of the church, but you can tell that you're not putting their minds at ease. You're just kind of offering up whatever platitudes you can in the moment. But you can tell that most of these villagers didn't have great faith to begin with, but what little was there is shaken. You guys take the prisoners. So you take the sorceress woman and 3 of the cultists up into the manor and put them into separate cells.
Yep.
Okay. 2 of Abernathy's men had died in the attack. As far as casualties go, another one of his men was wounded. Abernathy was wounded worst of all of them. Also, one of the guardsmen on the wall is found dead, burned to death, just on the inside of the wall at a place where it looks like they had tried to enter the village several days ago. They were rebuffed and told nobody was being allowed in. So they came over the wall at some point. You find their grapnel still intact along the back wall of the village that had not been patrolled because the patrolman was killed.
Watch the cable.
I'm sorry, that was a 6. I have a charisma penalty right now. From obsession.
What is so Jeannie is going to check on, like, do you guys, unless you guys just desperately want Jeannie to be there when you interrogate the people, she is going to go see Abernathy.
Evie will tell you to go be with Abernathy.
Well, thank you. I was going to do that anyway. She walks away.
So yeah, let's collect some afternoon actions here. Jeannie is going to tend to Abernathy.
Yeah, she's going to dump all of her spell slots into healing Abernathy.
All right. What about Edmont?
Edmont is interrogating the sorceress.
Interrogation. Is anybody else joining this interrogation?
Victor will.
Evie, I think we need you there.
That's fine. It's fine, Evie. It's fine.
Well, I mean, I was going to try to put the restore order in town. It's going to be her priority.
Okay, so Evie, you're going to go out into town and restore order?
Yes.
And Ekon?
Let me see. I mean, I guess I'll be present at this interrogation then.
Okay. Where's the interrogation taking place in the manor? Down in one of the cells?
Yeah.
I would say yeah.
As far as magic items, the only thing you find on her is her spell focus. I believe that's accurate. Let me double check.
Does this look like a spell focus in the Ferniscan style of crafted items? Like
It
in terms of
does.
like a house relic?
It's very similar to the one that you confiscated from Chrisen all those
Okay.
years ago. And her clothes, though badly charred now because somebody very rudely vortex warped her into a supernatural fire, but very fine robes. All of her hair and eyebrows are singed off. And she's very, very badly bloodied. I'm assuming that you're not going to do much in the way of healing her.
No.
Okay.
No.
Then yeah, after a little while, she comes to. Edmont, Ekon, and Victor, you have her down in the cells. And then what?
Victor's in the cell with her.
Yeah, all 3 of you were there with her. And Orson, if you want him, I guess.
I
No.
think most of them want to be part of this, though.
I think we can send Orson with Evie of all people. Actually, makes most sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I kind of hold up her spell focus and say, "Tell me who taught you how to craft this?"
She tells you that the High Aethar assisted her in constructing her holy relic.
Where is Kristen?
Somewhere he is safe from heretics and blasphemers. She holds her head up high, defiantly, even though she
Victor
is
smacks
very
her.
badly wounded. You put your
Victor
hand
smacks
across
her
her
across the
face.
Yeah.
Roll damage. Well, no, you don't. What's your strength bonus?
He's got a strength of 9, so.
Okay, so it's so you can't
Minus
do
1.
you can't do less than 1 damage though. Yeah, I mean, that puts her back at 0 hit points and knocks her back out.
Can you do it in a way that doesn't knock her out? Is that possible?
No, not really.
Victor, you leave me and my brother to this.
Richard glances and then glances at his hand.
For some reason, it doesn't have the same feel as when you accidentally almost killed Darkwood. But yeah, no, you can shake her back awake. You get her. She's not enjoying herself, but she has this very defiant demeanor about her.
Listen, I'm the nice one. You want me to leave me with these monsters?
And she laughs. She says that all of you are monsters.
Have fun, boys. Victor walks out.
Ekon will pull up a chair, sit down, and ask, pull out a scroll and a pen and say, please recite for me the tenets of your faith.
And she does. And it's accurate in that way that, like, a fire and brimstone preacher would feel to our contemporary ears. Hers is Christen's same antiquated, from the bad old times version of his extremist religion. But she does so, and she, as though she's recited it 1,000 times before.
And, which of these would you say is the most important to uphold when you're summoning demons into the realms inhabited by people?
She tells you that none of the tenets preclude her from bringing forth the servants of air into the world.
Brother.
It is in fact the false priests, the false Aethars and heretics of aeons past that chased such servants from the world to begin with, when they seized control of the church.
Brother, granted I'm not as familiar with the canon as you are, but I've seen nothing of that sort in the books that I've read of air, right?
Edmont, give me a religion or arcana check. I'll let you pick.
Take religion.
Okay.
2.
Okay. Yeah, you've never seen anything like that.
What would you have us do with your underlings? What judgment would you say is sound to place upon them right now, if you were in my role?
She says if she were in your role, she would free them. And then she would confess her crimes of heresy to the High Aethar. And accept any subjugation or judgment that was passed upon her. She feels very fortunate that she's not in your role.
You and yours are responsible for taking of at least 3 lives. You will dangle from the leafless tree, no doubt. Our Duchess will judge you as guilty of that and sentence you to that.
She does not deny that her actions have ended lives. But she does so in such a way that these lives are insignificant to her.
As is yours to me.
I will leave you with a non-magical holy symbol that you might pray to air for forgiveness before your sentence is carried out. Is there a way for me to give her a holy symbol and not allow her to cast spells if she's a cleric?
Yeah, I'll say it's probably fine.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I'll...
Because I've always considered like spell focuses and holy symbols to be like minor magic items. So as long as you give her one
they've
that
got
doesn't...
like a GP cost, so if I just give her like a wooden icon or something.
Right.
Yeah, something that would meet the spiritual need but not give her any supernatural power. So yeah, I kind of will do that and then motion to leave with Edmont.
Yeah.
Briga's down here at the other cell. Victor's down here at the other cell.
Okay. Just pacing back and forth.
No, he's waiting for you to finish with those two.
Didn't get anything of note out of her. I don't think we will. I hate to say it, but I am afraid my brother is completely correct, and we will need to execute at least her. I don't know about her underlings. We'll see how fanatical they are.
The reason I left you is because I know that I'll kill her if I stay there. So.
Oh
You're
no,
not
that's
playing
why.
that.
That's everyone in the room knows that, Victor.
Edmont stares down at the hallway at Victor and says, "That's why I sent you from the room." And he walks off.
Anyway, let's see if we can get any
Back
information
upstairs.
out of the underlings.
Yes.
The underlings are in a state of mind where they will basically say anything they need to say. You get the sense that these are just desperate men that had been radicalized, essentially. They don't have class levels. They don't have magic to speak of. Give me an intimidation check at advantage.
Let me do that.
Yeah. Go ahead and take a D4 from guidance.
Well, it's a really good thing I have reliable talent. Intimidation, that's going to be a 13.
13. So
Oh, wait. I can do a D8 on that. Or D8 on that.
the 13 passes.
Okay.
The backstory here, they don't know a lot about Chrisen, but he was a man of power whose paths they crossed. They were starving, destitute men with very few prospects. Chrisen offered them essentially food and protection in exchange for becoming his followers. What they described to you in some detail is weeks and weeks of preparation spanning much of the past year, where before they were allowed to eat at a meal, before they were allowed to rise for the day, before they were even allowed to relieve themselves in the morning, they were made to recite the exact nature of the ritual that you just witnessed. 5 of them sanctifying a circle with a particular set of movements and actions, while the priestess summoned the supernatural fire. If you hadn't interrupted the ritual pretty much at the moment you did, she would have been able to summon that creature into the world and maintain control of it. That was the goal.
So 2 things that Victor wants to get out of this conversation are: where did they come from? Where are they hiding? And any information about the priestess or where she came from.
She was with Chrisen when they first met him, so she's been with him for at least a year.
Are they speaking Ferniscan or
No,
Darknese?
they're speaking Darkanese. These are Darkanese men. They do know some words of High Etherine, in the same way you might learn like Latin prayers, but they don't know the meanings of the words. They don't speak the language.
Okay.
Does he know if the priestess came from Vernisco?
They don't know for sure. They don't know where Ferniska is, or that it's even a place.
I guess she ever talked about where she came from before she joined Christian.
She didn't talk to them much at all. She was one of the priestesses. She's one of the high priests, like second in command. She didn't deign to speak with them whatsoever, except to give them orders.
Right,
And what about-
so I will tell you right now that my cousin is going to want you murdered. He's going to want you executed, and this would be a just action. So please, why don't you give me a reason why that wouldn't be the course of action that we should go through? Explain to me exactly why you wouldn't be a threat to anyone here, and why, if I were to say banish you to another land beyond the mists, you would not, with enough food to make your way to a civilization, you would not harm anyone there or here again.
They beg and plead up and down not to execute them, and they swear any oaths you want to hear that if you turn them loose, that you'll never hear or see them again. They'll never cause you or anybody any more trouble for the rest of their days.
Ekon, you're familiar with Christian's ideology. How do you think he would punish these?
Fire. That's the only thing I can say.
Fire.
At the mention of Christen's punishment, you see their eyes go wide, and it becomes clear that you've seen, these men have witnessed Christen punish followers for certain transgressions in the past. The mention of it is enough to put fear in their face.
Victor will ask him to explain exactly how Christian punished his followers.
Very simple. Ekon had exactly the right of it. He called down the radiance of air and basically would atomize people with fire. Essentially using something like a flame strike or a wall of fire or any of those awesome spells that you can get.
That seems like a lot to think about.
Keep in mind, these guys are like commoners, so they've got like 10 or 12 hit points.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a flame strike is the finger of God as far as they're concerned.
Is he revealing any information about where they came from or where they're stationed? Or where their camp is?
They parted ways from Christen some weeks ago. The idea was to arrive here where there was this... the Cathedral of the Heretic is how Christen liked to put it.
The heretic, not heretics. So you came here explicitly for Victor motions to Ekon.
And yeah, they confirm that as far as Christen is concerned, Ekon is he's calling himself an Aethar, but he is in fact a heretic. Christen intends to see him punished. However, they do not know Christen's movements since they parted ways. They think perhaps Ednitha knows, but again, she doesn't.
There's three of these guys, right?
Yeah, we did have 3 of them.
Yes, 3 of them. I had to double check. How many did I give you credit for killing? Yeah, there's 3 left. But they're all functionally the same person.
What realm did they travel here from?
They're all Darkanese.
Okay.
Yeah, these are men from in and around Darkon. Down on their luck, like maybe their village has been eaten by zombies or something.
Yeah.
And so they basically met Christian in Darkon and trained with him in Darkon and then left.
You don't get the sense they did much training with him at all, except to like learn some rote memorization.
Well, yeah, reciting the stuff.
Yep.
But basically, they've been in Darkon the whole time. Question mark.
Yeah, as far as you can tell.
Okay.
Victor, why don't you report to Evie what we've discovered? I need a few more words with their leader in private.
I'd really like to be there for that.
Trust me, it wouldn't make the situation better.
Are you sure you can adequately intimidate her, though? Or convince her to talk?
Trust me.
And you?
More likely than either of you two, yes.
Edmont rolls his eyes and walks upstairs.
Yeah, I don't know. Edmont could turn into a giant slavering werewolf.
Yeah, but when he rolls 1s and 2, it doesn't do any good.
I don't know,
Evie.
I would consider that an auto success.
Victor will pat Ekon on the back and say, use your faith against her. And then leave.
Evie and Orson.
Yes.
Things are calming down out in the village, although it has been impossible to hide the fact that there are dead. It's known that people snuck into the village. The gates are still barred. The 2 wagons are still parked outside. Basically, people are looking for answers. What has House Veritas done to anger God in this way that he would send punishers?
I tell them that the men who came here were not agents of air, they were false believers. And the fact that House Veritas so easily overcame them and defeated them is proof that air is not on their side.
Does Evie actually believe that? Like, in her secret heart?
We kicked their asses.
Right, but do you actually believe that these were false priests of air? That they didn't actually represent air's word and worth in the world?
Yeah, as far as she's concerned, Kristen is the heretic, not us.
Okay. It's very difficult to calm the people's nerves. And they start calling out, "Perhaps Heimdall can protect us. We should send for Darkwood."
Say anything else?
I mean, there's just general calls from the rebel. They've seen evidence that there are false believers of air who will rain fire down upon their village. As far as they know, Heimdall's pretty chill. There are no cultists of Heimdall that are going to come and damage the place.
I mean, there's a cultist of Heimdall, but he seems mostly harmless.
Well, I tell them it's my intention to find this false prophet and bring an end to him. I will restore order to my duchy.
Do you give any commands or decrees or anything while you're at it, or are you just kind of making yourself known, making your intentions known, I should say?
Well, I mean, like, you expected me to, like, demand that no one go to Heimdall?
I don't know. It's
Evie mostly tries to stay out of that. The last thing she wants to do is get involved in an argument between Ekon and Darkwood.
okay.
So, she's not going to forbid it, but she's going to say, that House Veritas is still in charge here, and safety is being restored to the duchy as we speak.
Orson kind of leans in towards you surreptitiously.
Mm-hmm.
Says, "And what of your knights?
What about them?
Perhaps it would assuage the people's fear if you were to mobilize them."
Well, as far as I know, they're already doing that. I could call them to Silverbow to protect the city.
Oh, isn't Orson, like, in charge of those guys?
Well, I'm in charge of them, but he's, like, my second in command.
Okay. He says that he knows that, but the people don't unless you tell them.
Oh, yeah, the Knights of the Silver Tree will protect the people of Silverbow and the Duchy of New Orm.
Make a persuasion check.
Sure. That is a 24.
Whereas a moment ago there was a lot of uncertainty in this crowd and calls for, hey, maybe we should convert to Heimdall. He doesn't seem like he wants to murder anyone. When you tell these people that your Knights of the Silver Tree are going to be hunting down the heretics and bringing them to justice, there are calls of agreement from the crowd. And a hip hip goes up for the Silver Tree. And that seems to have done the job.
She will give the order that some of her knights are to report to each of the cities of the duchy. I don't know how many there are now. I don't know if it's still just the main three, or if more have popped up in the intervening years.
Oh, more have popped up. They're just
they're
they just remain nameless for now.
Particularly, I'm going to send a couple to Alehurst to keep an eye on Lucren.
Keep an eye on your wine.
Mostly my brother, but also my wine.
Okay. Three families in the village are grieving tonight. Two of Abernathy's men were killed, and then one man on the wall.
Evie will grieve with them.
And
I don't know.
as far as you can tell, the villagers don't understand the full extent of what happened inside the church.
Mm-hmm.
All they know is that some extremists broke their way in, tried to burn the church down. Then you and your lot arrived, put the fire out, dragged the remaining cultists away. It seems like nobody knows that there was almost a monster on their hands.
Okay. Penny's okay, right?
Tenny's, you haven't seen her since you got back.
Oh, that's not good. Orson, can you go find Tenny?
He nods, says he'll get on it.
Thank you. I don't want her out there on her own right now.
Jeannie, you're dumping a bunch of healing into Abernathy?
Oh.
And the story is that he and some of his men were out and about in the village. They had just taken their breakfasts when they saw somebody being thrown from the church. I have this character's name somewhere. The priest that Ekon left in charge of the church.
Conman?
Conman. Is that it?
Yeah. I don't remember his name either. But
Donovan would be a good name.
Yeah, apparently he was about to do a perimeter check. He had been told a few days prior to not let anybody inside. He understood that there were people outside waiting to get in that were being a little irate. But the church door burst open. Conman and his 2 acolytes, or however many, were like half frog marched, half thrown from the front door by the cultists inside.
They weren't killed though, were they?
No, they were just thrown out. When Abernathy and his men arrived, there was a slight altercation where she threw a fireball. That's what damaged the door and burned his men. And this was moments before you guys arrived at the gate. So by the time you actually get to speak to Abernathy about it, you know more about the situation than he ever did.
Right. Like, is he awake?
Yeah, if you put healing into him, if he's got hit points.
I mean, yeah. Like,
Edmont did at the start.
yeah, he had hit points at the start. Edmont used a potion on him.
Right. Which is why he didn't die from his burns.
Right. No, I'll heal him up to full.
Okay.
If that's, like I said, I'll dump every single spell slot I have into him.
Like he grimaces a moment as you stitch the burned flesh together. Healing magic isn't going to cause the hair on that half of his head. I'm assuming he's probably got this big, well, half of a fantastic mustachio now.
Also picture him, he's got like a pompadour. Or half.
Well,
He's got
not
half a
anymore.
pompadour.
Not anymore.
He goes, Genie says, I think he would look pretty dashing bald, actually.
He laments that nobody looks dashing bald. That's something that polite people tell bald men to make them feel better about being bald.
Genie shrugs at that. Edmont mentioned that you said you saw God.
He thinks for a moment. I can't really remember. There was a bright flash, fire appearing from nowhere, the way that Aethar Ekon is able to do. And I remember hearing the crack as the door broke apart. And not much after that.
The lady, she threw a fireball at you. It exploded, damaged the door. It killed two of his men. So is that how many died, Brickard?
Yes,
Yeah.
2 men died and a couple more were injured. At the mention of that, he starts pressing his way to his feet. He says, I should speak with their families. It is befitting as my duty. Will you accompany me?
Genie stands up and motions for him to lead the way.
He laments as well that it can be difficult for the small folk to see the ease at which learned and moneyed people shrug off injury with magic. He's heard stories that perhaps their families will feel resentful that his injuries were healed so quickly while theirs were not.
Well, she goes, Genie kind of goes, well, I kind of panicked a little bit and kind of dumped everything I had into you.
Well, this is just part of being a man of the nobility. Like, this sort of thing would have also been a class dividing feature back where you came from.
If it will make Abernathy feel better, Genie will offer to utilize her spell slots tomorrow to take care of some of the wounds of the injured.
All things considered, he feels like he stood in defense of the village, and the villains were brought to bear. So any small help he was able to offer, he's feeling pretty good about that already.
Well, I mean, it isn't nothing. You slowed him down long enough for us to get there. Like, who knows? Like, because, like, Genie will tell him, like, they were, like, whatever they were doing, they were literally one action away from doing. Essentially, he's going to tell her they were one turn away from doing what they were going to do.
Another 6 seconds before Ekon interrupted her.
Basically, by making them turn around and fireball you, that bought the time we needed to get there.
So you tell Abernathy in no uncertain terms, like, they brought an enormous fire-breathing demon into the world, and they were going to control it.
Yes. like you've told us before that we don't where we come from. There's not really the concept of fiends and like you said the Feywild. We know of the if I recall correctly, we know of the Fey and the Feywild.
Oh yeah, this would definitely have been considered an unseelie creature.
But
For
we,
sure.
we don't really have like a concept of the hells. But like
The Etherian religion doesn't really have a hell, no.
right. We don't have like, but you know, in D&D, hell is a physical, actual place.
Yeah.
Like, do we have like fiends and stuff? Are they a thing that like an unseelie person? Do we have a concept of what like a fiend, a demon, and all
absolutely,
that is?
yeah, like
Yeah, then I'll explain.
like red-skinned, fire-breathing creatures with horns, like sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll tell them like they summoned a giant fire demon in the middle of the church.
Abernathy pontificates that, from what he's seen, he thinks that the unseelie creatures of Darkon are much scarier than the ones in the stories from the Republic, from whence you came.
I think that it's not just the stories. I think they are legitimately more scary.
Ekon.
Mm-hmm.
You said you wanted to have moments alone with the sorceress.
Yep. Just steps in. Tomorrow morning, I will take you for convocation, and to learn anything else that Air deems to tell me from your mind, I would suggest you make yourself ready.
From her perspective, it is you that needs to be made ready.
Oh, he doesn't even stop to time for an answer. He just,
okay.
he just lets her know, like, tomorrow morning, you and I. Genie, can you make goggles of see invisibility?
No.
Can you make me see invisibility?
Yes.
I need to be able to see invisible things for about an hour tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I can literally put this is obviously I'm not there, but like I can literally put see invis in my
I just need an hour.
spell storing item. So
Just
you can
need
cast
an
it like 10 times if you want it.
Does it last for an hour?
Yes.
All right, just cast it on me. I'll just be ready to cast it on me tomorrow morning. I have a bunch of stuff I have to do preparations for.
Is the village still on lockdown after you guys get the peoples in the dungeon?
Heightened security, but not necessarily full lockdown anymore.
So the 2 wagons outside are allowed to come in?
Yes.
Okay.
As long as the people are properly vetted.
Well, what does that mean, properly vetted?
Like, do
Do
we
you have
recognize
looking
them?
object?
Do they have stuff we ordered?
One of them has marble blocks that were commissioned for some purpose, some construction purpose. The other
The church?
is a traveling salesman laden down with all sorts of ugly, terrible-looking rugs.
I mean, I'll probably talk to them, but if they pass my smell test, like they don't
Evie,
look like
do you
they're.
have locate object? Am I remembering correctly on our spell list?
I do, yeah.
Locate object for any holy symbols to
Yeah,
the
that's
church,
not a bad idea.
our church, and confiscate them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll detect for holy symbols, particularly the ones that I know are. Okay.
Yeah, as far as you
Oh,
can
sorry
tell,
about that.
neither of the wagons are smuggling anything in. They're not.
Yeah.
No secret compartment with more fireball men.
Yeah, I think the people who were trying to sneak in, they found another way in. So I don't think these guys have any affiliation. So there's still going to be heightened presence around the gates compared to an everyday normal, but yeah, business can return to business as usual.
Okay.
Edmont's intention now is to foreman the construction of a gallows, 3 nooses.
Not even consulting the Duchess first?
No.
So you're getting workers from the village to do this?
Yeah.
Do you tell them what it's
Edmont
for, or do you just let them kind of assume what it's for?
I'll tell them it's to put those 3 to death, or 4 rather.
So-
Ekon was going to banish them.
Well, Ekon said, "Can you give me a reason why I should banish you?"
Well, we haven't actually talked like in character about our plans. Ekon, yes, is planning to cast Gias on all 3 of the underlings and put them under a compulsion to leave and not cause any harm.
I'll tell you this for nothing, though. Workmen in the village being set to work constructing a gallows with 4 nooses on it does seem to improve the mood in the village a little bit. As far as anybody's concerned, like, these people attacked your town. So, they set to work throughout the later afternoon.
All right. So do you like download all the information to Evie? I assume.
Like, are people... Okay, Ekon has some stuff that he's not going to tell everyone else he's planning to do.
Okay.
But there are the things that he will tell you that he's planning to do is that he's planning to cast Gias publicly as part of a trial, which Evie will convene with, as he also casts Detect Truth, or,
Zone of Truth.
Zone of Truth, for the 3 underlings to make them swear that they were duressed and put into this, and that they will leave this land and never return and never harm anyone else.
Well, I mean, I personally don't care that much about the underlings, but the people would feel better knowing the underlings were being punished. Banishment
Yes.
might be okay for them. But
Exile,
So,
yes.
in Darkon, being banished is functionally the same as being
Okay.
executed.
that might be okay then. What I really want to get out of the woman is where Kristen is. That's all I really care about from her. After that, we can just hang.
Listen, I intend to work with Keltostravi on that. I'm going to go once the execution is over. I'm going to go out to the Keltostravi's area, home, and aid in their search.
Yeah, Victor,
I also need Orson for an hour tomorrow morning.
Oh, that's fine, but he's looking for Tenny right now.
So yeah, throughout the rest of the afternoon, the gallows is constructed. Orson returns before too much longer, tells you that Tenny's not anywhere in any of her usual hiding spots or bolt holes, even the places that she doesn't think he knows about. He's pretty sure that, as she's wont to do, she snuck out into the woods at some point, probably before this all went down.
I'll find her tomorrow morning. Don't worry about her.
Victor is going to send some communications out to the Vistani to see if they've heard of Christian or anybody with red cloaks and where they've been located.
Okay.
If we can get the location of Kristen from her, we should try to do that because she's the only one who would know for sure.
Obviously.
That was actually really funny because before you guys contacted Abernathy, you were like, send a sending to Tenny and tell her to. Tenny isn't in town, but she'll lie and say that she was, so you guys didn't find out. That would have been a lot funnier, I think.
Oh, I had a feeling she was going to be out doing her wicked thing.
Okay. So yeah, Victor, you sent some word out that for the Vistani to keep an eye out for what, red-robed people? Other
Red-robed
priests
people,
there?
and also, a description of Christian and the things that he does and
Kristen.
spout.
Kristen, not Christian.
Yeah, Christian.
You said Chris. You said Christian.
I think you should have killed this guy when you guys had the chance, like 40
Yeah.
sessions ago.
Hey,
Not wrong.
That's
Not
an
wrong.
Ekon.
Yeah, that's absolutely
That's
right.
this is Ekon's fault.
Although he was the one that gave you all the heads up that Brennan was going to come under attack.
He
Right.
did do that.
He legitimately didn't have any hand in that.
Yeah, so in the information that the Vistani might use to be able to detect these people, what do they look like, things they might spout.
Okay. Yeah, you could put some feelers out. Everyone going to take the benefits of a long rest for tonight?
Okay, so the next morning, Ekon takes a point of charisma loss to not have to give into his obsession.
Okay.
He immediately takes Orson, goes down to Eugenie's room, gets the scrying mirror, pulls it out, pops a 5th level slot to scry Tenny.
Yeah, and she's out in the woods. What time did you say this first thing in the morning? Like just after?
Just after the sun's up.
Then yeah, she's out foraging in the woods for breakfast. Somewhere nearby.
Do you want to see the full
miles.
10 minutes of this, Genie?
No, but go ahead and send her a message. Do a sending.
I'm
And
sending
tell
today.
her-
Sorry, I'm taxing a lot of my resources. I can send her tomorrow.
All right.
Can I get that scene visible?
I'll send my owl out to look for her.
Okay.
with a note saying,
Sure.
"There's stuff happening in town. Please come back home."
Thank you. Ekon, as soon as he can see invisible, immediately takes Orson with him to go down to where the woman is detained.
Yep.
Retrieves her, and then with Orson in tow to, keep basically Orson. Ekon's in front, or she's behind him, and Orson's behind him, and he puts her in manacles. He goes to the super happy fun room, casts Stone Shape, and brings her in there and tells Orson not to let anyone else in.
Oh.
So, okay, you're stone shaping her into the room, and then Orson is on.
No, I'm stone because the only way in and out of this room is stone shape. There is no
Right.
It's Edmont's old giggle dungeon.
Yeah.
But that's the room
And
you're
he
taking.
stone shapes the door shut behind him
So she's locked in there.
with me.
And Orson's outside.
Yeah, and Orson's been told not to let anyone else in or out.
He seems a little flummoxed by this, but he doesn't.
It won't be more than an hour.
Jeannie is like Jeannie, like as you're walking out the door, should I be concerned?
Everything's fine.
Do you want?
You want company?
If it was Victor or Edmont in there, I'd be a lot more worried.
I mean, Ekon's doing this before Victor's going to be awake.
Victor wakes up at noon.
Edmont's up at the crack of dawn working on the gallows.
I'm gonna insist that one of you at least carry the vortex wand with you.
Just in case he got to push a sorceress into a fire. So what's happening in the Giggle Dungeon? This is of paramount interest to me
Hold
now.
on, I got to keep track of all the spells I've used. All right, so I can see invisible.
Yeah.
I brought a light source with me, so the first thing I do is I scan the entire area for scrying sensors. And I've got a perception, I've got a passive arcana of +4, which I'm going, no, I'm sorry, yeah, my passive arcana is +5, I'm going to get that up to +10 with enhance ability, and then I'll do the same with perception, and just make sure there's no magical interference in this room.
Yeah, no, you've got the whole Giggle Dungeon to yourself.
Alright. I will pull the chairs that I have already brought into here aside, and I'll let her sit down, remove the manacles. Alright, and I'll speak to her in Ferniscan.
Okay.
I need to know if you're from our world, and how you got here if you are.
She's...
Or if you're just the most impressive learner of foreign languages and culture that I've ever met in my life.
That would
Kristen
definitely be
hasn't
Evie.
been that long.
Evie learns foreign languages in like 8 days.
Yeah.
She speaks Ferniscan very well, but she speaks it with an accent.
Okay.
So even though she tells you that she refuses to answer any of your questions, like just the fact that she's speaking with an accent tells you that she's Darkanese.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, this is taxing on my high-level slots to do all this stuff in one day. Oh.
In fact, she's a little insulted that you expect her to betray the confidence of the High Aethar.
This is an ecclesiastical matter, and while we might be on opposite sides of this religion, you and I both believe the same tenets of the religion, which includes the sharing of knowledge. So any knowledge of this, I believe the proper word that we're going to be using from here on out to have a common vocabulary is plane, versus our home plane is something that both of us could benefit from.
And she frowns, and with a little anger in her voice, she says, "It is this very withholding of knowledge that you are guilty of."
Well, then I will lay out all of my information about the realm, and you can lay out all of yours. And Ekon will proceed to have a lengthy lecture of everything he's learned about the way that, all the things he's picked up over the years about the ways that Ravenloft works.
Okay. So you're not really able to tell her much of anything that she wouldn't have already known then, as far as how the mists function and how there are different places in Darkon.
I mean, no, I'll tell her stuff like that. That Rex can't use magic, and his whole plan. Like this is Ekon is literally giving her a complete information dump at this point.
So you let loose the big secret that you know about Azul and Rex.
Yeah. As well as what I know about Mordheim, any of the other realms, but yeah, everything. Like this is Ekon's best thought is that if she's pulling that we're hoarding knowledge, he will give her all of the knowledge he has, and see if that compels anything else out of her. And while there's other things he cares about, what he actually wants to know is whether or not she has any knowledge of extraplanar movements and ways to leave the plane.
Make an insight check.
Yep. That's an insight of still pretty good. 14.
At the mention of Aslan Rex being unable to use or being unable to learn new magical secrets, you see the anger subside a little bit. She says in response, "Would that you had shared that information earlier. You may have spared yourself punishment at the hands of the High Aethar."
Is this punishment specifically for failing to share knowledge? Because the last time I spoke to the High Aethar, I did not have that information. And I think you can figure out at this point that he and I have some disagreements on the finer point, and especially the execution of the tenants, even though if the words are the same.
She confides in you that Kristen finds your very existence to be an insult to the tenets of the faith. Being given this bold, new, and untouched world filled with minds and souls, to be taught the laws and the tenets of the Etherean Church and the words of air. Instead, you have decided to rebuild the corrupt institutions that you were born into. You had all of the opportunity on Earth to take the faith in the proper direction, and instead you decided to stay the course in the heretical direction that had brought so much tragedy already to the Republic.
Do I get any... Does she have any knowledge that she's sharing with me about, like, interplanar travel or anything? And I guess, like, you know, Chrism's location or anything like that. Like, do I actually get any information through this line of questioning?
You know that she knows where Kristen currently is. And you know that she knows about some of the institutions and followers and things that he has. But she will not be forthright with this information. This is not... She gains nothing by betraying Kristen. She already knows that you're going to kill her.
And I have just one final question. Fire or noose? Which would you prefer?
She tells you that you don't have the authority to use either. That you should set her free about her business, repent your sins, and pray to God for forgiveness.
Oh, and I guess the Executioner decides, and Ekon will cast Stone Shape to open up the chamber. Orson Gagger, get Victor in here. I need to make sure her mind isn't probed anytime between now and when we do this. And I need to go talk to my cousin to make sure that the timetable is going to be fast.
Okay. So Victor is making sure that...
Victor's gonna go down to the dungeon, I guess. Or the giggle room.
Genie, can Victor borrow your psychic vision glasses?
Well, I would had to have had. Yeah, we can say that I
Yeah, sorry, I didn't.
posthumously, like infused them. Yeah.
Victor,
Yeah, that's
put
what they
these
do over a
on.
long rest.
Put these on. Make sure no one gets inside her mind for the next however many hours this is going to take. I'll go make sure that's not a large number.
All right, make sure you stone shape me in there.
Oh no, she's out of there. I don't have enough stone shapes to open that up again.
So you're marching her to the gallows and in turn making sure that her mind stays clear. And yeah, Victor, as far as you can tell, she's not under any psychic influence. There's no weird brain waves leading to or away from her.
Where is she being kept?
I'm going to put her back in her normal cell, talk to Evie to make sure we're all on the same page, and then we'll go have the actual trial.
What page is Evie on?
Okay, so what is Ekon telling her? That you dumped all the information you know into this?
No, I don't say anything. I would never tell you that. I'm not stupid. All right. I have gotten all that Eric wills to give me out of the woman. I would suggest that we do this quickly. I'll tell you that I plan to publicly, we'll do the Zone of Truth in public as a public trial. The 3 minions I plan to allow go if they all submit to the will of Air and allow me to place a ban and be exiled and I'll use Air's blessings to prevent them from being able to break those oaths that they'll speak. If they choose not to do that, we can hang them.
I
The
mean,
woman should be hanged or burned. That's kind of up on the executioner. I think my brother's going to hang.
I definitely want to execute the woman. I don't care that much about the minions. I guess I'd like to talk to her before we put her to death, just to see if I can get anything out of her. But it sounds like she's probably not going to give us anything.
I've gotten frustratingly little, but it's the same. You remember talking to Chrism all those years ago before we got meteors dropped on us and driven through the mists, right? Remember that interrogation?
Yeah.